down for the start of play. So they're going to speed through that. Have you ever seen that before, Aman?
Peter, I haven't seen it at this level, but back in North Carolina, the local league there, it's definitely happened a couple times. Everyone's set to play. It sets up. It happens more often than you think in the United States.
Well, I can remember way back when, in 2009 at the USA Under-19 National Championships, the championship was delayed because they didn't have stumps. So I've seen some curious delays in America as to why a match would be stalled, but this is a first. You see something new every day in American cricket, Aman.
That's the beauty. Speaking of something new, don't see it with that Nepal side. Again, you take a look at that. Asif Sheikh, Anil Shah, Kushal Bhutto. And then we see Rohit Bodo. He's scored the highest score for Nepal in that matchup. 49 runs. Gulshan Jao. Deepinder Singh Airi was brilliant. And then you had Karan KC, Arif Sheikh, Sampal Kami. And the two Dakals at the end were brilliant as well. So you take a look at this Nepal side, and they've got to feel very confident about what they can do. They really were able to defend a total less than par because of that bowling lineup that we saw. And so it makes complete sense why they would go back to batting first, use their bowling as their strength.
And I tell you who was an unsung hero was Sagar Dakal. Didn't take a wicket the other night, but his spell of left-arm spin was really impressive, and you hope from a USA perspective that they can emulate that with Nashish Kenjige and Harmeet Singh, two left-arm spinners for USA, part of the 11. And again, we could see Nash Kenjige bowl on the power play with his spin, but for now, we're going to see Saurabh Netravalkar take the new ball. As you can see Lone Star Park in the background there of Grand Prairie Stadium. Beautiful shot with the sun setting. It's part of a big sports complex here. You've got Lone Star Park, the racetrack, and the cricket stadium here, and Texas Trust CU Theater next door as well. A whole lot happening here on a Saturday night in Grand Prairie. Aman.
Crowd's ready for the first ball, and here it comes off the hands of Saurabh Netravalkar. Left alone, little bit of sideways movement from Netravalkar, and again, we saw it be more prevalent in the second innings, that swing, but you have to imagine that Saurabh's going to try to continue to angle it away from the right-handed batter.
Yeah, like you said, he had a slow start on Thursday night. He's trying to find the mark a bit quicker here on this occasion. And we've got a change, one change out in the middle. Both 11's unchanged, but we got an umpiring change. Samir Bandekar, a local. He's a Dallas guy. Great to see him get an opportunity to stand in his hometown.
Just helped. There'll be the first runs for Nepal. Could be 4 of them. No, good work out at third man. That's Shayan Jahangir. Keeps it to just the 1. So very often you see that turn into 2. That's what Nepal really did well. Good work from Shayan. Had a lot of ground to cover, stationed at deep backward square.
Yeah, it's a short boundary on this side of the ground. In case you missed Thursday night or you missed the pitch report from Aman earlier, it's a very short boundary there. We saw a lot of boundaries go through fine leg in that region on Thursday night, and so that was excellent from Shayan Jahangir to cover that ground very quickly because the ball travels to that side of the rope in quick time. But he got there to save 2 runs for USA.
All those runs will be important. Again, Nepal so good at picking that longer side and finding 2 runs there. Something to watch for tonight. Played into the offside, no run available. Peter, for this USA team, they haven't faced a lot of adversity following the World Cup since really the Netherlands tour that they had. They've been on a real hot run of form. How do you think they're able to respond? What do you think this does for their team coming off a loss?
Well, this is a rivalry that has a great intensity to it over the years. If you go all the way back to 2008, World Cricket League Division 5 in Jersey, that's really the foundation of this rivalry, and they've had a lot of very hotly contested encounters over the years. And that has carried over into T20 cricket. USA lost Thursday night, and they lost their only other previous encounter in T20 cricket to Nepal at the 2015 World Cup qualifier. So USA trying to break that streak here tonight.
Good delivery from Netravalkar. He's the real cog in this machine. We speak about Deepinder Singh Airi as being that key for Nepal. And Saurabh Netravalkar with the ball. He's been on really a purple patch of form, starting in that World Cup, what he did the wickets he took there, and then in Major League Cricket, the best bowler. A lot of those games played here in Grand Prairie. He's been off, welcomed a child. He's had to return to work a little bit, but now he's back in USA colors, and I know the USA fans are pumped up about that. Again, hovering around that off stump, just a little movement away. And right now, Sa is just unable to get his foot towards the ball. He's really trapped him on the crease. Good length so far from Netherwalker.
Yeah, he took some time off from the T20s. He was there for the ODIs in Namibia, but took some time off, didn't stick around for the T20s, and he also was rested from the Netherlands tour because, as you said, he's got a new baby girl, and he was spending an awful lot of time away from work, and he needed to look after his baby too.
I remember watching him warm up, and this will be another thing that Netherwalker will love, is that he's a family man. You see it on his social medias all the time, and the baby's in attendance. His baby girl's there, and that'll be the end of the first over. Daughter watched a good one from her father, 2 for none after 1. Good start for the USA. Just the 2 runs from the first. We'll see Ali Khan start things off. He loves this rivalry, Peter. He's someone who's always animated, but seems to have that extra gear against Nepal. Nearly a tremendous take from Ali Khan, just past his outstretched hand, but if he would have taken that one, Peter, he was going to let the Nepal crowd know about it straight away.
He would have gone for the full-on Hollywood Hulk Hogan wave to the ear. Let me hear it. And it just whistled by his ear there and his hand. Yes, he's got a very interesting love-hate relationship with the crowd. A lot more of the latter than the former.
I was going to say, Peter, it feels like the villain arc. He likes to play the heel in the wrestling form that you're going for. On the legs, this will be 1. We saw the U.S. do this, especially Ali Khan, Jesse Singh as well. We're just starting very straight, starting on the legs, trying to make him hit to that long boundary. Did you think the U.S. maybe overplayed that in the first match, trying to force them to hit to the long boundary and got away from maybe fundamental cricket?
Yeah, there was a few areas where I thought USA maybe was trying a bit too hard at times instead of just sticking to the basics. And yeah, at times they got their angles wrong, maybe preoccupied with the boundary difference.
That's a better length and a line from Ali Khan. Again, right outside the off stump, there's a little bit of seam. And the interesting thing with Ali Khan, you'll see the action, you expect it to move away just because of the arm slot, but it just nips slightly back in. He's got that kind of Malinga-ish action, lower arm slot, and just tails back late. That's what makes him so good, especially in the death ball in those Yorkers, Peter.
And again, for those very keen observers of USA cricket, he's wearing 43 in this series. His traditional number 47.
He's kept Sa and Sheikh on the back foot for most of this over, and it hasn't given anything on the driving length, and you have to imagine that is because of the length. But whether he's wearing 47, 43, or 23, Peter, he has one goal. He wants to take wickets. He wants to put his emphasis on the match. Get very fiery character once he's inside those boundary ropes. That's short. That's caught Sa on the helmet. Gonna hope he's okay. We saw Ali Khan bowl a couple of short balls the other night. This one just getting onto the grill of Sa.
Yeah, this is that X factor that Ali Khan brings to the table for USA. little bit of extra mustard on this delivery. And as you said, got him just on the bottom part of the grill into the chin strap. And I'm a bit surprised we haven't seen the physio come out for Nepal for what should be a mandatory concussion check. That's been a standard part of cricket for the last few years now. Not happening on this occasion, apparently.
Flicked away, picked up, huge roar from the crowd because that's the first maximum of the day. After taking one on the grill, Anil Shah gives it right back to Ali Khan.
Well, he tried to go with the bouncer-Yorker combo, got him onto the back foot with a short ball, and then followed it up with a full delivery, but right onto the legs and flicked for 6. It's 9 for 9 after 2.
Well, Nepal starting things off like they did the other night. Slow start, boundaries starting to pile in now. This one run to third man as Nether Volker returns for his second over. And Peter, again, this is what we saw from them the other night, and we're starting to see it. Just that late aggression starting now.
Here's that shot from Anil Shah. Half volley on the legs. Ali Khan was trying to get it a bit straighter on the stomachs, but instead it's straight, and that is a mighty impressive shot. That's to the much bigger boundary on the east side of the ground. And Anil Shah cleared it into the 4th row with ease.
Yeah, that's the bigger part of the ground as well, Peter. So impressive stroke, using the pace of Ali Khan well. And it'll be interesting to see how he now elects to attack Nether Volker, who's creating some problems in that first over. That one's jumped in quite a bit. The first time we've seen Nether Volker bring it back in. Probably just missed the length that he wanted to start that on, but it's a good battle brewing here between Nether Volker and these two bats, because you can see they want to be a little bit more aggressive, but just have a little bit of uncertainty based on what the ball is doing off the wicket.
And as you said, Saurabh Netravalkar struggled in his first spell the other night. Gave up 16 runs in his first 2 overs before coming back with 2 wickets at the death. He's had a much more confident start here.
Use of the feet. And he's taking it into the deep. It'll just be the 1 run, but again, you can just see that sense of aggression from Shah. He's not going to let Nether Volker just stand there and bowl the same deliveries.
But if you're Saurabh Netravalkar, you don't mind that. That can easily backfire for Nepal, and that's a release shot that, on a different day, that might carry to Shayan Jahangir, who's positioned there out at deep square leg. And that's just a sign that Saurabh Netravalkar is just building a little bit of pressure to force a shot like that. That's not a shot that I don't think Anil Shah is exactly comfortable playing against Netravalkar.
This one struck him on the pad. And given, in the end, Nether Volker strikes straight away. He breaks through, getting Asif Sheikh.
Well, we were just saying there was a little bit of pressure building. Shots being played by Nepal against Netravalkar didn't look exactly comfortable, and nagging away on that good length. Saurabh Netravalkar strikes to get Asif Sheikh for 1. It's 11 for 1 in the 3rd. Just on a good length, nipped back ever so slightly, playing across his pads, just hit above the knee roll. That's a bail clipper in my book, Aman.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And disappointing start here for Nepal. 11 for 1 as Asif Sheikh goes for just 1 run. Kushal Bertel, the new man, into the middle. He's coming off a really good run of form Bertel, he's kind of been brought all over the place in terms of his spot, but he's back up to number 3. Just the 10 runs yesterday, but you could see him start to find flow just as Nash Kinjige got him.
Yeah, he had a kind of a stop-start innings. He was really struggling for rhythm, and then, as you said, he kind of grew impatient, charging down the wicket to Nash Kinjige. Ran straight past one to be bowled on Thursday night.
This one will be point, will be his first runs on the board. But we've talked about Nethervalker's length, and you can just see it's the setup ball. It's the one that's going to continue to nag away. We saw 2 or 3 of them, and then the odd one that'll swing back in. It's really intelligent bowling from Nethervalker.
Well, again, he's never going to be somebody who's going to blow you away with his pace. He's high 70s, low 80-mile-per-hour bowler, but he's just so intelligent with what he does with the ball, so skillful. And not only did he make his USA teammates happy with that one, but he made his wife and his baby daughter happy. His wife, Devi Snigdha, who's out here tonight from California, along with his daughter, Dimahi is her name. It's a Sanskrit word.
Dimahi will enjoy what she's seeing so far tonight, as that was another tight over from Nethervalker. Picks up wicket number 1 of the day, and Nepal, after 3, they're 12 for 1.
That is quite a picturesque sunset here in Grand Prairie. That is a grand sunset, Aman.
You get those kind of scenes here in Dallas. USA fans would be accustomed to that due to Major League operating around a similar time during the summer. My goodness, not many things better than this Grand Prairie sunset. I remember the first time I saw it, it was just a miraculous thing to see live.
Well, the reason why Andrew Leonard isn't on commentary right now, and is because he's probably so emotional upon seeing this. He might need to get a tissue. He's got to dab the eyes. This is how beautiful this is.
This will get through the offside. Work to be done. That's a short boundary. Morning Patel is quick, but he won't be quick enough. It'll be the first 4 for Kushal Bartel. And the Nepal fans loving it so far in Grand Prairie.
Well, we saw how beautiful that sunset is. Almost as beautiful as the timing here from Kushal Bartel. Pace being provided by Ali Khan, and that's just a gentle nudge. All timing. No follow through. He just went for placement and got it to perfection, just teasing Monik Patel all the way to the rope on that short boundary on the west side of the ground.
Yeah, not much wrong there from Ali Khan. Just goes to show the quality of Bartel and this outfield. He'll have to hold up as Bartel pulls off his mark, but that'll be a real confidence booster for him. Again, you mentioned start-stop innings. As soon as he started to find flow, got capped away. To get that boundary early on will do his confidence a world of good. That'll be a wide down the leg side. Probably the appeal just to stifle the wicket there. But yeah, Ali Khan has kind of been bowling all over the place since that boundary was hit on the first over.
He's just, again, got to settle down a little bit. Sometimes he can get carried away in this situation where the crowd is getting into it, and he's a feisty character himself, and he's just got to block that out a little bit, get back to doing what he does best.
Back of a length, better from Ali Khan. Again, because he's got that extra bit of pace, he can sit there on that length delivery and just get a little extra bounce on it. Doesn't have to go short, but how often do you see it right after the boundary? The pace bowler just says, nope, go try to pull me away.
And this is the kind of pace that you don't really see too often at associate level. This is the different dimension that Ali Khan brings to the table, not just for USA, but for associate cricket abroad. As you see another beautiful shot of Grand Prairie.
Bit of width on offer. That'll get through, and that'll run away to the boundary yet again. Straying in line this time, Ali Khan, and Bertel makes them pay.
Well, I was saying before, Andrew Leonard might be shedding a tear at how beautiful that sunset is. The USA fans might be shedding some tears seeing how quickly Nepal is attacking here in the power play. As again, Kushal Bertel getting it through the offside, getting the Nepal fans out of their seats. They're loving it here in Grand Prairie as Bertel just got plenty of width there, too much width. And even at Ali Khan's pace, that's not going to be quick enough to get past the middle of the bat of Kushal Bertel.
Yeah, I almost read that one. Knew the short one was coming. Give up 2 boundaries. You're not going to get out of an Ali Khan over without the bouncer.
Now, Andrew Leonard, I said he might be shedding a tear at the sunset. He claims he was taking pictures. But I'm looking at him, and I can see behind his lenses, I see a little bit of red in his eyes. I think he's gotten emotional. Oh, we've got a beautiful venue here in Grand Prairie. We had 1,000 fans here on Thursday night. We've got well over that already, and they're still filing in here. It's going to swell to at least 2,000 or more by the innings break.
That'll be pushed away. Won't be a run there. Had to get back. Harbeet Singh does well at short third. 4 overs gone. A good over there for Nepal. Saw 2 boundaries from it. 21 for 1. On Nepal, after losing that early wicket, have gotten off to a good start thanks to Kushal Bertel. He's walked in, he's found 2 boundaries, 9 off 7. I know Shah has the maximum of the day. And Nether Volker gets 3 on the trot, this time from around the wicket. Swung away, fielder in place. Peter, what do you reckon? Monu Patel opting to give Saurabh Nether Volker a third in the power play.
Well, he's a rhythm bowler, and the rhythm he's in, I give this a thumbs up. I can't give a thumbs up to that effort necessarily from Cheyenne Jahangir. He waited on his heels. If this is a World Cup match, he might have laid out for that one, Aman, but he very judiciously decided to let that one bounce in front of him, when on a different day, I think he might have gone for that one. And I think when it was in the air off the bat, Saurabh Nether Volker was thinking, this is maybe a chance for a wicket, but not to be.
Use of the feet from Bertel. Won't be able to find a run. So now we're seeing the Nether Volker, who not just changes the swing direction, now he's changing the direction of which he's bowling. Came around the stumps 1 ball, now to Bertel, staying over. What do you think the reason is for that?
Just to keep the batters off balance. Again, he's somebody who, especially in T20 cricket, you don't want to let the batters settle in and lock into your speed and your pace. And he's somebody who likes to mix things up with his cutters. He's not somebody who you'd expect a lot of Yorkers from like Ali Khan, but he does changes of pace, subtle changes of pace, changes of angles, bring a lot of wickets.
Movement back in that time. And yeah, let's have another look at that if we can. Again, that movement was quite brilliant. You can see balls have been nipping away, and now he's starting to bring it back in to the right-hander, just straightening off the surface.
Well, it's that one that comes back in. That's how he got Asif Sheikh out in the 3rd over. It was a series of balls angled away, and then one that came back in, and Asif Sheikh wasn't necessarily ready for it. And that's that canniness, that thinking that goes into a lot of the wickets he takes.
Picked up, hasn't timed it, but has got enough of it to get it over the fielder. And Harmeet Singh has a little fumble around. Won't result in a boundary, but they'll get back for a couple of runs.
Second time in the over that Sarvnechevalker may have thought to himself when it came off the bat, oh, this could be a chance, but just enough bad on this from Kushal Bertel. Not close to being out of the middle, but Harmeet Singh just doesn't have enough speed to run back from the edge of the ring, and he also doesn't have good footwork either on that one. It didn't cost him an extra run. They were going to take 2 anyway, but not exactly the most glamorous effort collecting that one.
Hit away. This should find the rope. And it will. 4 runs. Kushal Bertel has come in, and he's really put the impetus in the innings.
Well, USA's got both their boundary riders in the power play on the leg side, so once it beats that offside ring, it's going to be an automatic 4, even on an 82-yard boundary on the east side of the ground. And again, just beautiful timing from Kushal Bertel, who was scratching around the other night, but my goodness, he looks an excellent touch here early on, coming in after the fall of the wicket.
Yeah, we spoke about Nether Volker going over and around the stumps. Look at Bertel. He's just stationed right outside leg stump, giving himself the opportunity to take advantage of any little bit of width, knowing the riders are on the leg side. This time comes forward. Nether Volker deals with it well. And a battle brewing. 7 runs from the 5th over, 28 for 1. We saw 3 from Saurabh Netravalkar, and that experiment didn't quite go the USA's way, so no third for Ali Khan. It's Jesse Singh to open his account. Starts off with a perfectly nailed Yorker, but the quality of Nepal's running is even on that, as that's barely left the crease. They'll pick up a single.
That was something that was a major difference between the two sides in the first T20I. Running between the wickets, you see that and you think, oh, it's a dot. He's jammed it between his legs, but good recognition between both Shah and Bertel that says, I'm going to win a foot race. I'm going to beat Jesse Singh to the stumps. And not only did they jog between the wickets, but Jesse Singh did too, because he knew he was going to win the foot race.
Looking to be innovative. We saw Nepal try to do that pretty consistently 2 nights ago, and Bertel has already shown that he's looking to score runs. You mentioned that Yorker. It's almost shades of what the USA did to Pakistan in that super over, wasn't it? When Mohammad Amir would nail that Yorker, find a way to sneak one. That one's just gone over
now,
middle leg.
I don't quite understand this from Kushal Bertel. All of his boundaries have been through classic cricket shots, just pure timing. Why is he trying to get fancy with a scoop over fine leg? Just do what he's been doing. Play that elegant shot through the offside. Like that.
He's heard you, Peter. He'll find a single out there. In this modern game of T20, it almost kind of mixes in the shots on the regular. He's seen fine leg inside the ring. He's trying to use Jesse Singh's pace, but you're right. He's having such success with these classical strokes. Why not stick with it?
Well, yeah, fine leg is in the ring, but you're still in the power play, and the only man on the boundary and the offside is that deep third, Nash Kenjige. You just fielded that ball. All he's got to do is keep peppering that cut shot, that back foot punch through point, and it's only 64 yards on that side of the ground. Short. So to the left side of the screen, it's a short boundary tonight, and to the right, that's the east side. That's 82 yards.
I know Shah's trying to get in on the act, trying to hit out to that vacant leg side that you saw just a little bit ago. It is the bigger boundary, but you mentioned with just the 2 men out on the deep, there's no protection in front of square on the leg side, so a safer shot, but you can sense Anil Shah trying to up the ante. He's not quite found his rhythm yet. No,
it's almost a bit of a role reversal from Thursday night. Sa looked in good touch, in rhythm, and it was Kushal Bertel who was struggling to time the ball, and now she was on the other foot.
Yeah, no shot struggling for any timing. Jesse Singh can't believe that hasn't gone on to castle off stump, and it's a good start for Jesse Singh. Again, he's kind of the X factor in this lineup. The USA always struggles for that third seamer, and he's starting to put his hand up as the one. You can see this just angled all the way in, and he loves bowling at Grand Prairie, Peter.
Yeah, he was the stand-in captain on that tour of Namibia when Monik Patel was injured and Aaron Jones was out. I thought with Saurabh Netravalkar back and Ali Khan back, and based on the way Jesse Singh struggled on Thursday night, I thought Yasser Mohammed might come in for him, but they've stuck with him.
That's hit aerial and in the gap. Anil Shah, he might have been struggling earlier, but he's got one that he liked. The length there just too full, and Anil Shah takes advantage.
Well, Jesse Singh got a little bit greedy there, searching for a wicket. He had a good over up to that point, but searching for that full-length swing, over pitches it, turns it into a half volley, and thumped straight back down the ground by Anil Shah. Past Ali Khan to the rope. It's 34 for 1 at the end of the power play. See the Chinese Lantern Festival just in the foreground there, set up outside the stadium as Harmeet Singh comes into the attack.
Yeah, brilliant. Those lights there. So good. That really added to the atmosphere when you walked in. Normally, that backdrop, there's nothing out there. But today, you're seeing a cricket match with beautiful, like, a lit-up statue over there. So cool to see. And for USA, they're hoping their future's a little bit brighter in this match than it was just 2 nights ago. Harmeet Singh was the star with the ball. That one's hit into the offside. And again, like we mentioned with Saurabh Netravalkar being the leader of that pace group, Harmeet Singh, same role with the spin bowlers.
He's really emerged very quickly to take on a senior role in this setup for USA. Only made his debut in April against Canada. But he was player of the series against Canada in that 5-match T20I series that turned into a 4-match sweep for USA with 1 match washed out. And then was player of the match in that famous win over Bangladesh in the first match of that 3-match series in May at Prairie View with an incredible cameo alongside Corey Anderson.
He's just made a name, like you mentioned, quickly in the USA national team, but even domestically. So good so quickly. Getting here in 2020, and then from there, just really made a name for himself as the left arm spinner. And as a bat, he's batted 1 down domestically. And he's rated as this one swept away, and it'll be swept for 4. Kushal Bertel, doesn't matter who's in front of him at the moment. He's going to find the rope.
Yeah, this is teasing from Harmeet Singh. I don't think he'll mind this too much because he's playing across the line with that sweep shot going against the turn of the left-arm spinner, but Harmeet Singh is somebody who doesn't really turn it all that much, and with that short boundary, that's what Kushal Bertel was targeting.
Good over yet again for Nepal, able to find their way up to 42 for 1 after 7. Brilliant scenes here in Grand Prairie, all happening. Chinese Lantern Festivals, Kevin Hart's in town, and now Andrew Leonard joins me in the comm box. Lenny, I'd say you're a bigger star right now here in this stadium than Kevin Hart would be.
pretty sure that's not the case anywhere in the world, but nonetheless, I'll try to be as entertaining as Kevin Hart, as the two spinners are going to operate in tandem. Nosh Kenjige joins Harmeet Singh. Honours even, it kind of feels in and around that. Don't think Asif Sheikh ever really got going, but I also don't think Nepal have actually got away at all from USA. And you have to remember, we're probably going to be on the same surface for all three of these T20Is. 160 proved to be comfortably enough in the end, although the winning margin was only 17 runs in the first game. Nepal are going to need at least 150 on the board.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine that indeed. And honestly, 160 didn't feel like it was going to be enough yesterday. Just I didn't think the USA batted effectively on that surface. But what we saw, the keys, pick the short boundaries, and then when you're hitting to the long side, put your foot in the ground, run two, and sneaky runs that way.
Nicely swept to power sweep from Bertel, and oh, well, he's got a bit lucky here, Jesse Singh. It ends up looking good, but he's nearly overrun it, and that could have cost 3 runs. Instead, he keeps it to a single and does pretty well in the end.
Yeah, that's what you call Mr. Top 10 on the playground. You throw it out one-handed, probably didn't need to, and luck's out there because you don't want to give up too many boundaries on the long side of the ground, and especially not the way Bertel's batting.
Just a few signs of maybe these two batters starting to find some rhythm and some timing. Fascinating evolution for Kushal Bertel, isn't it? 48 games. Yeah, big evolution, isn't it, for Kushal Bertel. 48 matches he played opening the batting, and now he's having to adjust to what is not just a second role, but a third role. He tried 5, 6, and 7, didn't quite work. Now he's trying number 3. Looks a bit more kind of natural, doesn't he? He came in the power play.
Yeah, you tend to see a lot of the openers bat at 3 or not, and what you're seeing from him, natural signs of aggression, used to the power play, and the ability to rotate, which I think is just going to be so key. Like you said, these two have just sent in, found a rhythm, and able to do this. You couple this with maybe a boundary, maybe not. You're able to find your way to 5, 6 runs every over. Close out over number 8, 47 for 1.
Five bowlers used thus far. And that's all that USA used the other night. Just missed that ball there. Big full Yorker from Harmeet Singh. Anil Shah did well just to dig it out. There is other bowling options in this American side, but for the moment, we still haven't seen anything from the man who took a 5-wicket haul down in Namibia. That's Milan Kumar. Big swing and a miss, targeting the shorter side. For Patel, is he kind of just going to try and stick with the tried and tested, or will we see maybe even Aaron Jones tonight with some leg breaks?
I think it'll depend on how well Harmeet Singh and Nosh Kenjige go. We saw both of them take wickets the other night, and if they continue to bowl well, no need to really change it up.
Inside edge, Sarav Netravalkar gets, well, what was really a dive for dramatic effect, no more in, and it's going to be a boundary. Anil Shah has kind of been worked over here by Harmeet Singh, but a little inside edge ends up going in between the stumps and his legs and runs away for 4.
Yeah, very fortunate there. Netravalkar pulls out the dive. Harmeet Singh will feel hard done by that, but yet again, it's a boundary I don't think he'll mind, especially this one, the way it's come. He's put out the Yorkers, he's hit them. I don't know, Shah just getting the touch of fortune at the moment. Those ties tend to shift after a couple of one of those.
Trying to get very full, isn't he, Harmeet Singh? It's almost as though he doesn't want to allow either of the batters to be able to get underneath the ball. You'd imagine that Shah would like to go over extra cover with that kind of a line, but nailing it right into the block hole.
I didn't think key is that he's bowling with the short side to the leg side of these two right-handed batters. So when he's not getting a lot of turn, he doesn't want to allow them to get on a knee and sweep it, which we've already seen from both batters. Kushal Bertel played that brilliant sweep just 2 overs ago. So he's going to go full. He's going to hit that popping crease.
Another inside edge, but this time Netravalkar will be able to cut it off Such a difficult bowler to get away, Harmeet Singh, and he's proving brilliant yet again. Just 6 runs from this over gets us to the end of the 9th. It's 53 for 1. Use of the feet down the track and gets it all the way. It's been spilled in the crowd, but the Nepal fans love it nonetheless. Right into the packed grandstand up here. And that's a good strike from Kushal Bertel going after Nosh Kenjigate.
He's been real positive throughout his innings so far tonight, Lenny, and again, use of the feet. We've seen him do it to all the seamers, and now to Nosh Kenjigate, who was just a touch fuller than he probably should have been, and with the shorter side and that extra cover region. So thank you very much. I'll hit you for 6.
Yeah, really good use of the feet, swift use of the feet, and that's the key.
Yeah, again, got down the ground, got to the pitch of the ball, so he didn't have to reach out for it. Not a huge turner, Nosh Kenjigate, especially on this surface. So once he got there, just had to use his hands to hit down the line. And no one of that wide, long off position, so a very safe shot in the end.
Getting into the block hole seems to definitely be a tactic, doesn't it? There's no coincidence that both of the 2 left-arm spinners are getting very, very full. It's risky, though. You miss it by 6 or 9 inches, it's going to turn into a half volley, particularly over extra cover with that short offside boundary. That could be somewhere where we're going to see targeted, but this is the second wicket. It's the tamest of dismissals. Kenjigate, he roars with delight as Anil Shah never looked settled, never got set, and he simply gives it away.
Yeah, Nosh Kenjigate is roaring here in Dallas, and for Shah, it's been a painstaking innings, and on that there, you're going to see no footwork. He just kind of threw his hands at it. It's been the story of his innings. He hasn't used his feet quite well enough. Think about the way Kushal Bertel's attacked it. Hasn't been the same from Shah. Again, look at the emotion from Nosh Kenjigate. He loves it. Again, this tamest of return catches. He's so good in the field. Never going to put that one down. That will be the second wicket for Nepal. It's 52 for 2.
Also going to be time for a drinks break. We'll take a short break here in the commentary box. Shah's dismissed for 25. It's 60 for 2.
saying to you, not no, I think he's saying to you, walk to, go to the, someone is going.
Monty Desai, the head coach of Nepal. It was great to get a chat to him before the start of play there. And we're talking to one of his other coaches, Kushal Malla, in the bottom left of the shot. Big surprise for me that he's not in the starting 11, given that we're going to almost certainly see 8 overs of left arm spin like we saw in the first T20I, and USA sticking with the same team. And as a consequence, the usual Kushal Malla spot of number 4, even though Paolo bats there sometimes, is now being filled by Gulshan Jah. One thing that Monty Desai is absolutely insistent upon ever since he's taken over as the Nepal head coach has been to have flexibility within his batting order, and he's showing it yet again. Jah really only plays in one way. This could be attacking and aggressive, particularly with the shorter boundary on the leg side. What do you feel, Aman? Kushal Malla, surely real surprise not to be in the 11.
Yeah, it would have made sense. Again, you're taking on the USA. USA has maybe the most left arm spin worldwide, and you know they're going to play at least 2 left arm spinners, and if they brought in a third spinner, probably the leggy. So everything would be coming back into the left-hander, and he's in a good run of form. And again, it just feels like you're upsetting the rhythm of your young bat, who sees 2 dot balls from Kenjige, who gets that wicket 60 for 2 after 10. And
So the halfway stage, 10 overs gone. Now this was during the drinks break. This has been something that we're seeing head coaches do more and more. Come out actually during the drinks break, talk to the 2 set batters. In this case, it's talking to the new batter. He was also talking to Kushal Bertel. Very much hands-on from Monty Desai. He's a bit of a father figure, isn't he, to all the Nepal players?
yeah, he is. You can sense his fingerprints all over this team. Again, a very versatile team that's active in the field. And they never seem to panic in situations. I think that's been the real staple of this side. They're able to handle different things because Monty Desai is going to put them in situations that maybe make them uncomfortable. And you think of Gulshan Jha right now, batting at 4, not his most comfortable state, not something that he would do, and not something that he's found success at the international level. He's found a lot of success lower down the order. But again, Monty Desai wants his team to be flexible, wants to see his men be able to score in different ways and perform in different scenarios, and now Jha getting that promotion.
Jesse Singh's return to the attack. The fans are getting into it. Chants of Nepal, Nepal ring around Grand Prairie here in Texas. He's still a teenager, Gulshan Jha. Remarkable how mature he is. 37, now 38 matches, including today. He's batted in every position in his T20I career, from number 3 to number 9. Quite remarkable. Quite
remarkable. And again, it just speaks to what Monty Desai preaches of his players. He wants them to be able to do different things, and I think he's all the better for it, because now you see him bat at number 6 and he's flourishing, and they're hoping can do it at number 4.
Worked into the larger side, will only be a single. Yeah, I think there's 2 sides to it, isn't there? There's the empowering your players to believe that they can play in any position, and there's also some players, it'll depend on each of those within the batting lineup, will prefer to have a defined role. For me, I think Bertel back up to number 3 makes a lot of sense. I just wonder, is Rohit Paudel, who for me would probably be the best batter in Nepal colours, is he now going to be underutilised? He's still not at the crease. Dipender Singh Airi, outstanding the other day, also yet to be used. Nepal have resources to come. They need to start to get on with it. They're only going at a run of ball here.
Yeah, again, like you said, with Rohit Paudel probably not seeing as much strike as he probably should have. Dipender Singh Airi being held back. You just figure that you leave Gulshan Malla out because you're trying to give one of those bats an opportunity to bat a little bit higher, whether that is Paudel, whether that's Airi, or whether that's Jha, which we've seen. And now you send in Jha and you expect him to play his natural game of going big. They don't really have to rebuild. Only lost the 2 wickets were in the back half of the innings. Now it's time for him to find some runs and find them in a hurry.
Pumped down the ground. And that's why Gulshan Jha has been sent in. He's going to attack and go after it. Monty Desai doesn't feel as though the run rate is where it needs to be for Nepal to post a defendable score. So he's turned to his teenager. And that's the answer from him.
Yeah, it was never a question of if. It was only a question of when does Gulshan Jha go. He spotted the length here. It's too full yet again from Jesse Singh. It's in the slot, and you just have to help it over that mid-off fielder. Milind Kumar could only watch it sail over his head for 4.
He's turning into a real sort of cult hero, isn't he? Gulshan Jha, his heroics there in Canada. He's still so tender in years. Inside edge, they're going to dash a single, and that's outstanding running. Good thinking too from Kushal Bertel. He knew that he'd be able to outsprint Jesse Singh. And it'll be a single to close out his second over. 11 have been bowled. It's 68 for 2.
Yeah, again, we've seen it already from Nepal. This kind of aggressive running. We saw it the other night. Seeing it yet again today to close out over number 11. And the Americans are going to have a rethink.
Well, now then, for the first time in this series, we're going to see a sixth bowler for USA. And this decision from Monty Desai to get a left-hander into the crease has probably prompted this. So it'll be the off-breaks of Kumar. It does have a little bit of mystery, a variety to them. But Gulshan Jah will have a shorter leg side boundary to target. And I suspect this could be action aplenty either way, whether it's going to be wickets or runs.
It'll be a good test here. Milind Kumar has really adapted the way he's bowled. When he first came into the American scene, was much slower through the air, offered a lot more flight. And since being in the U.S. scene, bowling a lot more in T20 games, he's gotten flatter and quicker.
He bowled in all 3 of the T20s that he played down in Windhoek, and the figures against Namibia in the final game were the second best in USA history, just the second T20I 5-wicket haul, 5 for 16 that he took. There's the 6 bowlers that have been used. This just gives Mayank Patel a little bit of flexibility, means that he can... Oh, beautiful stroke inside out, and you're not going to believe this, it's gone all the way for 6. What a shot! The shot of the second T20I, and it goes to Gulshan Jah.
That's the bigger end of the ground too, Lenny. That's a shot of real class. That's power as well. He hasn't quite gotten to it. He's had to reach out. We just show the power in the young man who just helps it stand and deliver cricket.
Well, you just missed a ball there, but I think that 6 was worth re-watching. He's worked it into the offside for a single this time. An exceptional stroke. Looked like it belonged more on a golf course than it did a cricket field. The driver came out from Jah. It was flat, and it went all the way for 6. And this risk of bringing on the 6th bowler, well, it's going Nepal's way for the moment.
And Mayank Patel looking to be aggressive. He's an aggressive captain. He's searching for him.
And this is going to be 6 more. Straight down the ground. It just carries. Doesn't go over the rope by much, but it does it by enough. And Mayank Patel has a forlorn look on his face. It was a risk going to Kumar. There isn't much turn on offer, and it's the second maximum of the over.
It's too full yet again. It's just sat there, asked to be hit. Again, stand and deliver cricket on a surface where it's not turning. Easy pickings.
Back live with you again. Single down the ground now, so it's a 16-run over. It's the largest of the innings. It's 84 for 2. Well, there's the feel of a change to the context and the course of this first innings, and maybe indeed the entire second T20I in this Stake Stars and Summits trophy. Harmeet Singh continues to be held back. They're going to take Jesse Singh out of the attack. In comes Nosh Kenjigate. I suspect Nepal are going to continue to attack here. Looked like it might have been some kind of little variety from Kenjigate. Not sure whether it was even possibly a leg break. Get a second look at that if we can.
Have to adapt to the onslaught of runs we're seeing from Nepal. Could have just been the leggy. Again, he's bowled a lot here. He knows what works on this venue, Kenjigate. And he's always adding things to the repertoire.
Would have been a strange decision bringing the ball back into the right-hander with the shorter bender in the leg side. That's darted in. Now, has he got enough of this? Well, he has. Not all the way for 6, but Aaron Jones is in 15 yards off the rope, and he's got it over his head, and it's landed inside the playing surface. Ja will get 4. Should it have been the 3rd wicket?
Yeah, you see Andres Kaus with his hands over his head. It's set up. The fielder's in place for that, but Aaron Jones is in because that's the bigger boundary. He's trying to save the 2 runs, but what he ends up giving up is that space behind. It's just gone in that little gap. 1 bounce over the rope, and the USA would have to be kicking themselves at the moment.
Big moment in the match. Ja tries to repeat the dose. He may well have given it away here. He has. It's the captain who holds on to a well-judged catch, and Kenjige strikes back. A delivery after maybe he feels as though he should have had the back of Ja. He just gets it to angle on. Ja tries to repeat an expansive stroke, and all he can do is skew it up into the air, and his short stay at the crease is over.
Well, he was given the license to do that. He was brought in to score runs, this time from Kenjige. Just kept it on with the angle, didn't spin back, and that's what's undone Gulshan Ja. But again, Nepal needed this. They needed a surge, and they got it from his 19 off 11. It's 89 for 3.
In comes the captain, Rohit Kumar Paudel at number 5. He's been in really good form of late. Thought he batted nicely on very difficult surfaces up in King City in Canada. And he was the standout batter here the other day. Very selflessly ran himself out looking for 2 off the final ball of the first innings on Thursday night. He's just 1 run shy of what would have been another T20 I-50. And he'll be delighted to see Kushal Bertel approaching that landmark. Dipender Singh Airi still held back, but that was, I know, a short innings from Gulshan Ja, but it was a very impactful one.
Yeah, just change the way you look at this approach to have an opportunity to get to 175 now. And tell you what, it got the crowd going as well. Maybe some of the cars outside as well, revving up the engines, because Gulshan Ja has put on a little bit of a firework display. And expecting to see more of that from Bertel and Paudel.
Definitely a momentum shift the last 5 overs, even though there has been 2 wickets fall in that period. They've gone for 45 runs, much more like it. And there are the Nepal fans, always proudly wearing their national colours. Cut away, a little bit of width on offer, and they may think of a second here. Bertel is incredibly quick, and he'll get in and out. I'm not sure if you guys already mentioned it, but Aaron Jones doing the fielding. Big day for him today.
Yeah, it is.
30th birthday.
Happy birthday, Aaron Jones. Fresh off the CPL, fresh off of the World Cup heroics as well. And got plenty of birthday messages. I was trying to click through his Instagram story. It was just a million of them going.
You never get through it.
Never get
just
through
keep
it.
pressing
You
right.
keep clicking. You just keep clicking, and at some point, you close out the app.
Well, he's a generous soul, isn't he?
Yeah,
he
he
just
is.
wants to share all those birthday greetings. And also a day after, you heard it in the pre-match, if you were up early, Stuart Law's birthday too. As again, short and wide, cut away, pressure on the birthday boy. But this time he'll prevent the second. Good work from the hero of that CPL final. 13 bowled. It is 93 for 3. How good has Aaron Jones been for USA? I suppose probably really shot to prominence from a worldwide viewpoint with that innings here against Canada.
Yeah, I think in 2022 he was at kind of his peak of T20 cricket, and it was just a shame that the USA hadn't played much T20 at that point in time. A lot of ODIs in that span, and then now in 2024 he seemed to found it again through that World Cup. And there's a lot of questions about him going into that World Cup. A lot of people questioning the fact that he was the vice captain, his place in the side. But then night 1, he just kind of silenced all the doubters there. And again, he's just kind of rode that momentum all the way through. Speaking of riding momentum, Sarma Volker has had a rise worldwide as well.
Well, really kind of the 2 standout stories from an American perspective, weren't they, of that World Cup? I know there was other great performances like Andreas House, and at points Ali Khan was a hero too, but they were the 2 that kind of turned themselves almost into household names across America. We saw them on CNN, we saw them in the New York Times, and the way in which Jones played. And then I guess the thing that captured people's imaginations was the story of Sarah Netravalkar coming to a new country. Was obviously the captain of America, but working his day job as a software engineer, becoming a new parent, and then somehow getting out some of the best batters in the world. Who did he get out during the World Cup? I think he got
Rohit Sharma,
Virat
Virat Kohli.
Kohli out. Did he get Babar Azam out as well? But certainly, I think it might have been Jesse Singh that got Babar Azam out, but he picked up some serious scalps.
Yeah, he did, and again carried that into Major League Cricket as well, getting the best of the best, took the most wickets, won the best bowler, and again, people are just amazed that the software engineer is able to swing the ball the way he does.
Nicely driven. Patel's in close there at extra cover. Is there something, I suppose, scientific in his mind that assists him with the skills? Is he using that kind of applications from his degree and his day job into the way in which he bowls his left arm seam?
We have to imagine sometimes when you're coding, you get those error messages that pop up. It's the same thing when you're bowling. You put it in the wrong spot, you have to adjust, shift things over, and again, maybe the same function that allows him to be a great software engineer with 3 patents of his own, well, now allows him to be one of the world's best bowlers.
Something I really enjoyed as well was the fact that, you know, his employers got behind it as well, which you might not see sometimes at, let's say, the Cricket World Cup League 2 level or the associate level. It might be more of a, oh, God, he's asking for more time off again. But with the World Cup on home soil, they really kind of rode that wave, and they seem to get a lot of positive PR from it as well.
Yeah, they did. Oracle, again, I think almost said, wow, this is a cool thing we can just kind of brand ourselves with and attach ourselves to. It's a growing sport in this country, and so they got to kind of be at the forefront of it, almost by accident. Just got to ride the coattails of Saurav Netravalkar.
Well, Peter Delapenna has been badgering away for me in the background there, and certainly you look at some of the players. You got out Risa Hendricks, Aidan Markram as well, and then the big wickets, they came against India in that game, as you said rightly, both Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. Stuff of dreams for him. I think probably the biggest thing of that World Cup was, though, that it was the 9 teams, the 9 associates, you know, flying the developing or emerging cricket flag. Powdell uses his feet beautifully. It's a shot that he loves, and that finds the gap perfectly between mid-off and extra cover. The 100 comes up.
Yeah, wasn't much wrong with the delivery. He tried to push it away from Powdell, but we saw it from Bertel early. The use of the feet tends to just get Netravalkar off his line. Powdell yet again using the feet, creating the width to put that one away. Like you mentioned, he plays that shot well. He's taken notes off Bertel's innings, and Nepal know they need to start upping the ante. 100 comes up, but you're in the 14th over. You got the last 5 now to look at. You've got to imagine you're trying to get back to 160.
Virat Kohli dismissal was first ball as well.
It was first ball. Just kind of cut off the wicket, took the outside edge.
Skillful bowler. His final delivery. And he's going to end with excellent figures yet again. The former Captain America, now happy to be just opening the bowling for them. He'll finish with 1 for 20. Great effort from the left armour. With 6 overs remaining, it's 101 for 3. Well, there are the stake projected scores. If they get about 10 and over, they'll end up with something very similar to what they posted in the first T20I, and really, they never looked like they weren't going to defend that with the way in which they fielded. They were so exceptional. And with Dipender Singh Airi up their sleeves, he'll definitely be in next. He's padded up at the moment down in the team dugout. And the extra bit of pace on the ball coming from Ali Khan, maybe they might be able to think up to that 165, 170 marker. Current run rate 7.21 per over. And Rohit Powdell would like to capitalise upon the platform that his team have. He'll have to face up to Ali Khan, who bowled with not just real aggression but also real pace in the first T20I. Maybe not quite as quick tonight. Not sure if that means the surface is slowing down a touch. And we've got a really good crowd, probably about 2,000, maybe 2,500 in and around the Grand Prairie Stadium, and they're building up a fantastic atmosphere They will be singing to the heavens, the Nepal fans, if Ali Khan is dispatched to the boundary. Much Aaron Jones, the birthday boy, we're seeing a lot of him, aren't we, Peter? As Peter De La Penna rejoins me.
Number 85 on the score sheet. Number 1 in the hearts of a lot of fans today on his birthday.
Man who was born in New York, but grew up in Barbados. He's got a healthy Bayesian accent, but he's moved back here for his international career.
Well, a bit of innovation, probably not exactly as Kushal Bertel intended it. This may well have gone all the way. And Samir Bandekar gets the arms above the head, and it brings up Bertel's 50. His first ever at number 3. It's come off 33 deliveries, 4 4s and 3 6s, and delight on the bench for Nepal.
Well, it's his first at number 3, but his 9th T20I 50 overall in his career. And what a way to bring it up. He's played mostly orthodox shots, but this one counts too.
What do you call that shot, Peter?
I call that the reverse cue shot. That's out of the billiards table. He just took the billiards cue. He said, "I'm going to go for the reverse corner pocket." Lenny, that's what he was going
The
for.
blind corner pocket,
Yes.
the over-the-shoulder corner pocket.
It's the Ronnie O'Sullivan reverse blind corner.
Well, an extraordinary stroke. We're going to see Ali Khan come round the wicket now. Also a change in field. And his square leg comes up into the circle. And that's going to be a wide. And listen to these cheers. I think these Nepal fans who are outnumbering the USA home fans, probably 98-2 or possibly even 99-1. They're going to get on top of Ali Khan here now.
A very interesting atmosphere because they're supporting Nepal, they're supporting the Sun and Red Moon, but they got those Stake Stars and Summit Series USA Cricket Free t-shirts coming in. This is their home now. They can't lose tonight, Lenny. Whoever wins, the fans walk away winners tonight.
I think they want Nepal to win, Peter. Now you can see the tactic here, can't you? Ali Khan, it's going to be very telegraphed, very choreographed. Something we probably saw Stuart Broad do first in this format a long time ago, back in the 2009 T20 World Cup. Round the wicket, try and hit the wide guideline outside the off stump, completely take the leg side out of play.
It's become industry standard now for bowlers at the death. You see this very common. And yes, Stuart Broad, he was the person who was the revolutionary in that regard way back when.
Sliced away. Now Netravalkar's down there, and he fumbles it, but he just about keeps it inside the outfield. There was a bit of a collision. It was accidental. Nice to see Ali Khan apologise for that. I think both Bertel and Khan were just watching the ball, and they ended up crashing into each other. Given that that could be a high traffic area, is Saurav Netravalkar the fielder that you want down at deep third?
Well, you got to put him somewhere. I might switch Sai Mukamal, who's currently at fine leg.
He didn't have a great day in the field the other
Although,
day.
yeah, it's pick your poison.
What about Milan Kumar? Surely Milan Kumar's got to come out of... I don't know how the ball can get to backward square leg in the circle. Really strange fielding position, that one. Now full toss, sliced away, out towards Netravalkar and wide of him. That'll be a boundary. I think this is too choreographed for me. The batters are going to know exactly where the ball is, and even though there's protection on the offside, you can't plug every gap. 4 more.
Well, he's going for Yorker. It slips out of the hand. It didn't get the grip on it, and it turns into a juicy full toss. And that's the shrewdness, the experience of Rohit Patel, because a more excitable player in that situation might have tried to whack it over the leg side, seeing a full toss, but he just said, no, I'm going to use the pace and just guide it where the gap is on the offside.
Tries to do the same again. And that's a great shout, Peter. Excellent running from Powell. Look at how quick he is. Outstanding strength, conditioning and fitness from these Nepal players right now. They're running USA a little ragged on home soil. It's 116 for 3. Peter, 5 overs remain here. Are Nepal on top?
Well, a little while ago off air, I was saying I thought they could shoot for 175 at the halfway stage, and now maybe that was slightly conservative. I still think they can get there and maybe a little bit more if Rohit Paudo and Kushal Bertel continue the way they're going. It's a bit of a cat and mouse game with Rohit Paudo if you're trying to target him, because we've just seen in that last over what he can do against pace with pace on the ball. He's also arguably Nepal's best player of spin, especially with that slog sweep. So if you're USA, who do you actually want to bowl to him?
Well, these are two incredibly important overs, not just for the context of today's match, but the Stake Stars and Summit Trophy 2024. And will it go back to the Himalayan nation, or will it stay here in the United States? Harmeet Singh, for me, has been the pick of the American bowlers in 2024 by quite a distance, alongside Sarav Netravalkar. Netravalkar's figures of 1 for 20 from his 4 overs are done. Harmeet Singh, these 11 remaining deliveries, well, if he can keep Nepal to run a ball from them, that will really change the momentum again. You can almost see that Rohit Paudel's aware of that, isn't he? They're probably not going to look for 4s and 6s too much off Singh here.
This is good from Monang Patel bringing Harmeet on from this end against Rohit, because if he's going to play that slog sweep, he's going to do it not only against the turn, but he's going to have to clear an 82-yard boundary on the east side of the ground.
Oh, that's an outstanding stroke. Spoke about him trying to get it full, Harmeet Singh. It turns into a half volley. Sheer elation from the fans up there on the deck. It's as straight as you can imagine, and it's all the way for 6.
Well, we saw the reverse cue shot into the corner pocket against Ali Khan in the last over. That was the unorthodox bit. This is far more orthodox from Kushal Bertel. This is what he's been doing all innings, just clean hitting. Doesn't try to smash it too hard. It's in the slot. He just strikes it clean through the line of the ball. Times it well enough to clear the sight screen.
Yeah, I'll have to check the ball just to see if it's okay, because it pounded off the concrete and the umpire none too pleased with it. The umpires were a little under the microscope, weren't they, Peter, 2 days ago? They'll probably have been pleased to avoid any marginal decisions thus far. Everything's been okay in T20 number 2.
Well, part of the reason why there was a bit of controversy was bowlers kept on targeting the pads. USA hasn't really been targeting the pads tonight. The Nepal batters have been freeing the arms, getting outside leg stump, going down the ground, and that's kept the umpires out of the equation for the most part, as Vijay Malala, the third umpire tonight. He was one of the standing umpires 2 nights ago, but he swapped places with Samir Bandekar. Aditya Gajra out of Atlanta. He's remained on field for both matches. Vijay Malala, who is on the East Coast. He's either North Carolina or Virginia. I'm not sure where he's at these days. He's somewhere in the Mid-Atlantic. And Samir Bandekar is based here in Dallas. Those are the 3 American umpires here for this series.
For Nepal, the return to form for the Butwal boss, as some have called him, the man born down in Rupendehe in Butwal. For Kushal Bertel, it's a first international 50, Peter, since all the way back on the 12th of March of this year. That was in Hong Kong against PNG. And I have to say, now, Bertel wants the second, but he's sent back by the captain, probably rightly so. I'd rarely disagree with Monty Desai. I think almost everything he does, there's logic behind it. I didn't really understand the idea of Bertel dropping to 5, 6 or 7, though. And I think after the 4 games, and with Bertel's performance tonight, we'll probably see him rightly restored back to the top of the order. He'll be either opening or at number 3. This could be the role for him.
Well, if you want to keep your spot in the top of the order, you got to be producing. And when you score like this, then it becomes justified.
I think he had enough credit in the bank, though, for me. Even if it was a shimmy down to number 3 from opening, there's not much difference between opening and number 3, particularly if there's an early wicket. But didn't quite understand him all the way down at number 7 up in Canada. But back up in the top 3, well, you can say he looks like he belongs there again. End of the 16th. It's 1-2-6 for 3. Harmeet Singh's impact, Peter, on international cricket since he's come in, it's been absolutely immediate, really, isn't it?
With the ball and with the bat, in some ways, arguably more with the bat in some key situations, which is why getting him out first ball on Thursday night was such a huge moment. Dipender Singh Airi with back-to-back wickets, first getting Milan Kumar on the first ball of the 16th, and then the stage was set for Harmeet Singh to play that finishing role for USA, and Dipender Singh Airi snuffed it out in one delivery.
Remarkably, just taking a look to the left, Peter, the fans are still coming in here. We've got a really healthy crowd now, and they are making the kind of noise that would make you feel as though this Grand Prairie Stadium is closer to capacity than the sort of 2,500 that we have in. Jesse Singh is going to bowl most likely overs 17 and 19, you'd imagine, and these will be 2 that Nepal will certainly look to target. Always colourful, always enthusiastic, and always passionate.
Well, Kevin Hart is going to be wondering how much support he has outside of the Texas Trust CU Theater. He's going to be saying to himself, I had no idea I was this popular in this part of the world. I can hear the noise outside of the venue. Are there fans who can't get in to see me? It's all the Nepal fans. I'm sure they love Kevin Hart, too.
Yeah, if you're wondering what Peter's talking about, as I often do, he's talking about Kevin Hart, the American comedian. He's playing at I presume it's the Grand Prairie Theatre, is that what it's called?
Texas Trust CU Theatre.
Just next to us here.
Just next door to us, that's the official name.
He was on last night, I believe, some of the MLC team who've been putting on this series so wonderfully. We're at it last night. As Bertel looks for the ramp, doesn't get it, but House fumbles, and Powell is very alert to that. He'll scamper through for what will be signalled as a bye by umpire Samir Bandekar.
He's a busy guy because after tonight, as you see the replay, this one doesn't get bad on it, and they're going to pinch a run anyway. After tonight, he's going down to Florida to play the Seminole Hard Rock. He's a busy guy. He's not wasting any time.
Get down to the guitar. That's where you got to go. That's not far from one of the other ODI venues here in USA, Lauderhill.
It's about 10 miles away.
Yeah, not far at all. Now, Nepal are going to start to look for boundaries. They need them. Good bowling from Jesse Singh right into the block hole. Is Dipender Singh Airi being underutilised again here, Peter? We're into the 17th over. He's still not at the crease.
Well, you could argue it's a good problem to have. He's somebody who you'd like to keep in reserve for the last 5 overs to play that finishing role, but with the way that Kushal Bertel is striking the ball and Rohit Paudel, 18 off 13, you can't sneeze at that. If these two keep going with this partnership, I don't think there's anything that Nepal would be complaining about. If they were chewing up dot balls, you'd say yeah.
Smashed through the offside. Oh, that's it like a laser. What a stroke that is from Kushal Bertel. Aaron Jones was only probably 7 or 8 yards away from this, but the ferocity that it was hit with meant it still went to the rope.
Well, USA has really struggled to figure out how to capitalize on that large boundary, that 82-yard boundary on the east side of the ground. This is the second misjudgment by Jones tonight. He had a chance off the bat of Gulshan Jha go over his head in the 13th over. It went for 4. It should have been a wicket. And again, that should have been no more than 2. He's cheating in a long way off the road. Instead, it turns into 4.
Now he goes down the ground, but there's protection there. Long off, Milan Kumar will do the fielding.
I don't think you're going to really cut off 2 unless the ball gets hit directly to you. To me, it makes more sense. You're going to get 2s anyway. You don't want to let that boundary go, and you don't want a wicket-taking opportunity to go like we saw earlier.
Well, I can't remember a ball hit as firmly as that. That's, what is it, an 82-yard boundary out that direction. Massive. Now, we could see Dipender Singh Airi to the crease because Monank Patel will hold on to another good catch and celebrate heartily as he has dismissed his opposite number. Jesse Singh gets the breakthrough. And maybe with Dipender Singh Airi's fireworks, that might not be the worst thing for Nepal. It's a wicket to close out the 17th over. Good little leg cutter here, Peter, from Jesse Singh.
He got the timing off from Rohit Paldo. He was through the shot a bit early, skies it over, extra cover. And Monank Patel had quite a lot of ground to cover in the ring, but gets there in time, latches onto it to get rid of Paldo for 18. It's 134 for 4 after 17.
Well, all that talk about Kevin Hart, there he is. He's packed out the Texas Trust CU Theatre. So if you're wondering, that beautiful drone shot earlier, it wasn't Field of Dreams. It wasn't in Iowa, all the cars coming up to the baseball game. It wasn't actually all the cars coming up to the cricket game either. They were coming up to enjoy Kevin Hart, although all of those Nepal fans that are packed into Grand Prairie are enjoying the action here. 3 overs remain. You might have just been on ad break there. You missed a huge roar, a massive ovation as their tiger, their hero, Dipender Singh Airi, has come to the crease. He's only got 18 balls left to be out there for, potentially the number 2 ranked all-rounder in the world. And they're going to scamper as quick a single as you'll see. Blink and you'll miss it. It was just a blur. Not Usain Bolt running from the non-striker's end there. No. Dipender Singh Airi gets on to strike. And after a player of the match performance the other day, what can he do tonight?
Well, he's a stick of dynamite. Whatever he does, he scored a very brisk 28 off 17 for the first half of his player of the match performance, and then followed it up with 3 wickets in the field.
He's off the mark immediately.
And a run out. Can't leave the run out.
Yeah,
No.
superb run out. Some were speculating that there was a single in that, but there's never a single to Dipender Singh Airi. You can't hit it straight at him and run. That's lunacy. That's suicide, Peter.
I have nothing to add to that, Mr. Leonard.
That's okay. We'll just leave you there for a moment. Good use of the feet by Bertel. They'll think of a second, but I think Airi actually quite fancies the strike. A little bit of the momentum.
Boundary and over. It took 10 off of Harmeet's last over, which is no small feat. 8 off the previous over by Jesse Singh. And deliveries like that are going to continue to help Nepal. You can see Harmeet doesn't want to give anything in Dipender Singh Airi's hitting arc. At that time, just got it a bit too far.
Well, this is really marginal. I think it's the right call, but Harmeet Singh is not happy with it. It's just turned on him and gone a smidgen, maybe a millimetre or 2 outside the guideline. Goes Nepal's way. Quick hands from Airi will only get the single.